being an entrepreneur is hard. It's lonely. It's really, really tough. You need to be able to learn all the time. You will fail.
What questions can I ask myself to find out what I need to change?
I think the ultimate question is
Alex Cole, CEO of Tin Ventures. If I look back on your life, what do I need to know about the main chapters of them to understand who is in front of me now?
I think there are probably three chapters really. I think the formative chapter is probably change. I think the headline is change. I grew up I was born in Doncaster in Yorkshire. I then moved to Singapore. I think the second chapter is probably about perfecting or choosing my lane. I tried not to ask children or young people, what do you want to do? And I'm like, how do you even answer that? Because you just say what you think your parents want to hear, which is what I used to do. Usefully, my dad didn't care about that. He said, you guys, all you boys will have your choice. You can choose any of the forces, but you will be joining the military. And I just finished my GCSEs. I got some good results. And he just said, come for a walk with me, and we walked down to the Army and Air Force careers office, and I started filling in forms. So that I recognized immediately that wasn't my lane, and so I had other things that I ended up doing. So I ended up just moving into sales because I was quite a gobby person, I suppose. So I started being gobby for a living, and so I got into, which was a link to the first thing, change management. You see the connection? Because I understood what it meant to change place or change everything that was going on. And I then linked that to project management. I linked that to when people were launching new systems in a business, if a business was merging together, where everything was changing and how people felt, because I grew up that way. Yeah. And then the third phase is the legacy phase. Now is the time to give back. Now is the time to pay the piper.
Yeah, let's go back to each of those phases. I'm interested in your time at the RAF, because you went from RAF into a corporate job. What lessons did you take from the RAF that helped you later on in life that perhaps a lot of us haven't experienced?
The obvious thing is discipline, but it's not what you think. Most people. I knew I was going to struggle with the military because I was the least disciplined child, on the basis that I couldn't tell you I was going to do something and know with a certainty that I would. And that's what it taught me. It taught me to make, if my mouth was writing a check, that my body could cash it. And I was a dreamer as a kid, so I loved dreaming of things, but I learned to turn those dreams into goals, and I'm very confident when I set a goal that I can achieve it, so it gave me the discipline, but it then gave me a method to achieve things.
So if for all those people at Mill Street who have those goals and want to achieve them, how do they then go about doing it? What's step one? You
need to be able to learn all the time. In your entire life, the cycle of, and when you're a kid, you love learning. You love something you can't do and then mastering it. As we get older, that feels like failure, because in the learning is the falling off your bicycle, is the missing every shot. You will fail, but that's part of the learning. And having the resilience to fail and get up and do it again, knowing that at some point, and you don't know when that is, sometimes you just have the talent and the capability that it's really fast. And it's wonderful when that happens, when your kind of the timing and your talent turn into, this is my moment, and I've got really good at this very quickly. The reality of anybody who's won at anything, they failed at it a lot. And what I mean by a winner is someone who doesn't regard failing at something as that's it. So most people, they've failed at something, that becomes the story. I just couldn't do it. I failed. But it's, as I said, it's part of the journey to mastery.
Let's talk about that change, because I think change is something that a lot of us put off until it's a bit too late. Yeah. So what ways can I ask myself, or what questions can I ask myself to find out what I need to change and when?
I think the ultimate question, we've talked about it already, we've mentioned it already, is what makes me happy? And it is really, really hard to do that in your, your late 20s, if you like. And I'm talking about as that early. Imagine how hard it gets when you're in your mid 30s or your mid 40s, because now you're saying I've just wasted all my life before that. So it is super hard to say what makes me happy. I used to ask people, what did you love when you were at school? What did you used to? What's not on your CV that should be here? And they would talk really powerfully and passionately about it. And then I'd say to them, so tell me about your CV and about these jobs. And the tone would change. It would become really low key, and you could see all the energy drain out of those conversations. I said, so that is how the difference is when you're talking about yourself and your career, that's how you sound to an employer. And look at the difference when you're talking about something you love. So imagine if those two things aligned. Being at home during COVID, they realized, I hate this job. I can't even face the idea of getting back on a train, going 2 hours every day, paying for the privilege of it, dressing up in a suit and working with people I just don't want to work with. It's kind of that getting to that point where you think, okay, I could change my life, and being bold enough and strong enough to do it. But yeah, I understood that I wasn't going to be happy with that being the sole legacy of my life. There were things I needed to do. I just wanted to help them at scale. How do I help lots of people with the same kind of things I'm doing?
So you've been able to find the specific solutions to a specific problem multiple times.
Yes.
What differentiates a really good solution from a mediocre solution to a problem?
Research. If you can come up with an idea for anything, but if you don't do the research, and I've seen many people who are sitting in incubators and accelerators now come with a fantastic idea that Apple already do. Someone already does that at world-class level. And there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you have a different value proposition. And the second question is, you ask, who is your customer? And you need to be really diligent about that. It's one of the things that sales taught me, because people are buying solutions. They're buying the relief to the pain that they're finding. And so you're looking at people who understand that customer really well.
As an investor, what are the three main things that you're listening out for? And also, what are the three worst things to say to an investor?
As an investor, I'm really looking for somebody who, as I said, understands their markets, done the work, done the numbers. So they get the target market, they understand the pain, and they understand that the pain and how to solve. They've come up with a clever way of solving that pain. The way you know they understand it is that they can tell it to you simply. And then I'm looking for probably that thing you described, that X factor, the winner mentality, because you know it's hard. Being an entrepreneur is hard. It's lonely. It's really, really tough. You're going to get lots of no's before you get that yes. You're going to have to fall down and get up again, fall down and get up again. So I'm looking for resilience. I'm looking for that kind of, that X factor. I think three things I hate, people who just blind me with science, who just go, oh, what a fantastic picture. And it's just noise. And by the time they've finished, or they're on the third slide, I still don't know what it is. The second thing is they value their business before they've sold anything. They're telling you what the value of their business is. Because, of course, the whole point of investment is what is the value. And then they say, well, I need £500,000 because my business is valued at this. Where's that come from? It's just a made-up number. And I suppose the third thing, I think there's a difference between a founder and an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs are always going to be entrepreneurs. Even if they build something and sell it and it's successful, they'll build something else. Founders now, there's lots of founders who just build something, sell it, make money, and they're on the beach.
Alex, we have a closing tradition on this podcast, which is where the guest, regardless of who they are, answers this one question. And that is, what is one message that you've never sent, but you wish everyone would receive?
We don't build cathedrals anymore. And what that means is, and I believe that now, your life should be about building cathedrals, which means you're building something that you know will outlive you. I think the cathedral building things that will outlive us, really is a lost art. It's something that we really need to think about more.
It's a brilliant answer. Alex, thank you so much for your time. The one question that you've said that keeps coming back to me is, what do you love doing? And think about how you can do that in every single day that you live. And that's something I'm certainly going to take away, and I know that everyone listening will also start thinking of now. So I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on.
No, thank you. Thank you very much for the invite.